Hello, welcome back. So in the previous part, I have discussed about the design aspect of the fillet weld, and we have used some terms that are being used in the fillet weld, and those terms were the size of weld and the throat thickness and the effective length of weld. So these three terms we have discussed, and these terms are generally used in our calculation. So now we will discuss more about some new terms. So today, in this lecture, we will discuss about the and return first. Well, what is and return? It says the fillet weld terminating at the end or side of member should be returned around the corner whenever practicable for a distance not less than twice the weld size as shown in the figure. So we will try to understand this using the diagram. Now see in this diagram, say for example, this is the direction of the force. Okay. So now it says, we have provided the welding in this along this line and along this line. So it says when there is a force, there may be stress concentration or yes, there may be a stress concentration at this point, and to avoid those stress concentration, what we do is, if practically possible, then we end our welding on the different corner. So like if it is going like this, so we doesn't left it here, but we provide some extra length. So this extra length, it may not be required for carrying the load, but we provide it just for the safety, because at this point or at this point, they may be highly stressed. So to distribute that stress, we extend some extra length, and that extra length as per IS code is about 2 times of S, and S is the size of weld. So that is called and return. So whenever we are designing welding connections, we generally increase extra welding length. Then the next term is the overlap. Well, as we are talking about the fillet weld, and fillet weld, say if the fillet weld is used in case of lap joint, then this lap joint has some uh, standards that it should not be less than that a particular length. Well, why do we need this lap? Because if the force is like this, then this force, there is this is the joint. So this force has to be transferred to this plate, and this force is transferred to this plate. So to get easy transmission of one force from one plate to the another plate, we need some zone, some length, so that this force can be transferred to other plate easily. So this length, if this length is large, then there will be less disruption uh, for the force transmission. So to get for that reason, we need to provide minimum lap length as per IS code. So now we will see what is the minimum lap length as per IS code. So it says it should not be less than four times the thickness of the thinner plate. If we are using unequal thickness plate, unequal plate of unequal thickness, then we will consider the thinner plate. So here we can see, so the lap length should be more than or equals to the 4 times of thickness of thinner plate. Then the next point is side fillet weld. So this is also very important. It says in order to control the stress concentration at the edges of the plate, the length of the longitudinal fillets should not be less than the width of plate. Well, now we see in this, say there are two plates which are to be joined, and these two plates have different width. We can see that this plate has more width than this plate which is being joined to it. So this plate can be joined using the welding along this direction, similarly along this direction also. So now it says that this length, if this is the length L, this length should be more than this width, and this width is say W. So this L should be more than or equals to W. Why? It says because there may be a concentration of the stress at these length. If we provide the length less than the width of the plate, then there may be stress concentration along the length of these welds. So to avoid that, we generally do that. Similarly, it says the value of W. The value of W should be less than 16 times of T. 16 times of T, T is the thinner plate. So it should be less than or equals to 16 times of T or between welds to control transverse bending. Well, now we have to understand what is the meaning of transverse welding and transverse longitudinal welding. I am showing you in the same diagram. Say, for example, force is going in this direction. So welding along the direction of force. If we are doing welding along the direction of the force or parallel to the force, then that will be called longitudinal welding. If we do welding along this line, so if the length of welding is perpendicular to the direction of force, then that welding will be called transverse welding. Okay. Now coming to the intermittent fillet welding. Well, as the name suggests, intermittent means welding is not regular, welding is not continuous, it is breaking in between. So sometimes we provide intermittent fillet welding in some cases, but not in all cases, in a very special cases. So it says in case of intermittent welding, there are some specifications which are being given by the IS code. So it says the intermittent fillet weld should have an effective length not less than 4 times the weld size with a minimum of 40 mm. It says the length of intermittent fillet weld, it should not be less than 4 times or with a minimum of 40 mm, whichever is higher. So now we will understand this with this diagram. So now here we see this is the length of weld which is provided intermittently. Then next length is here. So these lengths should be of equal length. So this length should be more than 4 times of S and 40 mm, whichever is larger. So minimum 40 mm length is to be provided. Okay. And this is the spacing which is D. So D is also specified. It says in case if the joint is transmitting the compression force, in that case D should be less than or equals to 12 times of T. Similarly, if it is transferring the tension, it should be less than or equals to 16 times of T. But in any case, it should not exceed 200 mm. So by chance, if 12 times of T or 16 times of T, if it is increasing more than 200, then we have to restrict our value up to 200. So in any case, it should not exceed with this. Now it says if, as I mentioned earlier also, if the value of L, if by chance, if this condition is not satisfied, then what we do? If this is not satisfied, in that case, we will use S as the L by 4, which means whatever length of intermediate fillet available, it will be divided by 4, and that will be the size of weld. Okay, so that is how we follow. And while calculating the length of intermediate, I mean total length of intermediate fillet weld, we generally add all the lengths. Okay, so these L, so similarly there may be some other length also. So this L is basically, in the calculation we calculate the complete length, and then we divide that with the number of intermediate or spaces. How many parts we have to divide that in how many parts, that depends on the joint or on the structure. So this is what I have mentioned, that D should be less than, so it is mentioned same, it should be less than 12 and 16 times, and in any case it should not be more than 200 mm. So now coming to the design strength of fillet weld. Well, I would say fillet weld in most of the cases it fails under shear. It fails under the shear force. Say for example, if there is this fillet weld, similarly if there is this fillet weld, and if there is a force, so this force is transferred using this face. So basically what is happening, it is under the shear, this face is under the shear. So from where this weld will break, this weld will break most of the time at this throat thickness. Okay, so now we will see the design strength of fillet weld in terms of shear. If we remember about the formula that we have used in calculating shearing strength of the bolt, then you can see that this formula is same. In the bolt, we used to calculate VDSB is equals to, it was AN into FU root 3 gamma MW, also NN. NN was the number of intercepts. So this is the formula. So in that case, we used to calculate the root of this AN was the net tensile area. If we see the bolt, and there used to be the threads. So the lower thread area used to be 0.78 times of AS, and AS was the shank area. So this is how we used to calculate. So this becomes AN. In case of welding, this area is the length of weld multiplied by thickness of throat. So this shaded zone, you can see here, this is the failure plane. The welding generally failed along the lowest thickness. So lowest thickness will be here. Maximum thickness is here. So it will fail where the thickness will be lower. So along this thickness, this is the shaded zone, and this area is called the area of failure plane. So that is why the formula in this case becomes Fu into area of the welding failure plane. LW is the length of weld, effective length of weld. This is actually the, it should be the small l. LW is the effective length of weld, and TE is the throat thickness. Similarly, gamma MW is the safety factor on weld connections. So if weld connections are field connections, then this gamma MW will be different. If it is choke connections, then it will be different. So it is as per again the IS code. So here we can see partial safety factor 1.25 if the welding is done in choke. Why? Because in choke welding, the quality control of welding is good. So that is why we can take less safety factor. But in the field, the quality control is not that good, and that is why we take more safety factor, which is 1.5. So it is, if it is mentioned that it is choke welding, then we will use 1.25. If it is not mentioned in the problem that it is not choke welding, or if it is field welding, then we will take safety factor accordingly. So now, what are the design procedure of fillet welded connections? We will see that. So first step is, the first thing that we do is we assume the size of the weld, because all the calculations are based on this size of weld. So this size of weld is S. So first of all, we assume the size of weld. If we are given the thickness of plates, then on the basis of thickness of plate, we can simply calculate the size of weld. Okay. Then in the next step, what we do is, say for example, if we are asked to design a connection for transferring a particular force, say for example P force. So what we will do is, we will equate this P force with the strength of weld and strength of weld in shear, because generally in weld it fails under the shear in fillet weld. Okay, so we will equate this P with the shear force, which is Fu into Lw into Te on 3 and gamma Mw. So we equate this. So we have, generally we are given the Fu value, throat thickness can be calculated. If we have S value, we can easily calculate gamma Mw. So ultimately what we are required to find? We are required to find the length of weld. How much length of weld should be provided to transfer this much of force. So in the design of fillet weld connections, the ultimate thing that we have to find out is the length of weld, which is Lw. So that is our second step. So in the second step, we calculate the length of weld. In the third, yes, one important thing. Now, IS code has mentioned if the value of Lw, which we calculate from the formula, if it is more than 150 times of, if it exceeds 150 times of throat thickness, then what we do is we have to reduce the design capacity. Why? We have seen this in the bolted connections also, that if the length of joint increases, then we have to apply some reduction factor. Why? Because if the length is increased, then the stress vary along the length. So if you are not clear with this concept, you can refer to the bolted connection. So there I have explained how the length of joint affect on the strength of joint. So the same factor works here also. So here it says if the length of joint, I mean length of weld is more than 150 times of throat thickness, then we have to reduce our strength of weld to by using a factor, and that factor is given in this clause. So this is the factor beta Lw. So we calculate this factor and multiply with the strength. So as I shown you, P is equals to Lw, something like this, the formula Fu or Lw multiplied by, and with that we multiply this factor beta Lw, and in that Lj is the length of joint and Te is the throat thickness. So if it is given like this, then we do that. Then once we calculate the length of weld, in the third step, we generally provide the and returns. So as I discussed earlier also, and returns is providing extra length of weld, which is about equal to the twice of the size of the weld from both ends. If we are providing it both ends, then we provide it from the both ends. In the fourth step, it says if only the longitudinal fillet weld is provided, then we generally check to see if the length of each longitudinal fillet weld is more than the perpendicular distance. So this case is also I have discussed in the previous case when I was saying that if this plate is joined with other plate of different width. So if force is going like this, and if we only provide welding along this length and along this length, then we have to check if this length, we have to check that this length should be about L, if it is say B. So L should be greater than B, greater than or equals to B. So this is what we do in the fourth step. So once we do it, then we are finished with our steps. So now in the next part, we will discuss about the groove weld. Thank you.